Welcome to Trifecta Collective, Finding the Root, where we dive deep into understanding and addressing root causes of chronic health issues so you can help and find healing inside and out, now and forever. Hello, and welcome to Trifecta Collective, Finding the Root. I'm Megan Abbott, owner and founder of the holistic health practice Trifecta Collective. Welcome to the podcast. So today I am so excited to have a very special guest on here, and that is Wilma Shaw, owner and founder of Gracie and Friends Holistic Pet Health, and we are going to dive into all things related to pet care, holistic health when it comes to pets and animals. And I'm so excited for today. We're going to dive into so many topics. And I know we get clients all the time asking questions about all this stuff, and I never have any good answers. So now I can refer them here and see you. So excited. So just to give you guys a little background. So Wilma is a certified holistic pet health coach with a passion for helping pet parents understand the foundations of wellness, nutrition. Through her Gracie and Friends community, Wilma guides pet parents in making informed choices about what they feed their dogs and cats, transforming nutrition from overwhelming to empowering. But Wilma knows true wellness goes beyond the bowl. She also helps families explore how digestion, daily lifestyle habits, and even the home environment all play a role in helping pets live longer, healthier, and happier lives. Welcome, Wilma.
Thank you. That sounds wonderful. I want to meet that person.
I know. I feel the same way when people read my bio. I'm like, oh, that sounds so great. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to start just getting to know you a little bit more, and where did the interest and education come from in the holistic pet health space?
Yeah. It's a little longer than, it's because my actual education and initial background was decades in engineering. So systems engineering. So that's where I came from. Then as I was wanting to leave that, I went into nutrition for people. So I went to nutritional therapy, and I actually had a business, Embrace Nutrition. I still have it. For about 10 years. And about 6 years into that, I started wanting to do something a little different and came across, I think it was in one of Facebook groups for nutrition. I saw this pet health program and I thought, wow, that's needed. Because I've always had dogs and cats and and fish and frogs and but I thought, wow, that is just the next step for me. I just knew it. And so I was learning that, did both for a while, and just recently got rid of my Embrace Nutrition site and only have my Gracie and Friends for pet health for cats and dogs.
Amazing.
So yeah, I think, the bottom line is health for pets is the same as health for people. It's just going in the wrong direction and has been since the 40s or 50s.
Yeah, for sure.
So that wasn't too long.
Yeah. Well, welcome. I mean, congrats on the big, official move. That's so exciting. As a fellow business owner, I know it's such a big deal when you fully make the switches and all that kind of stuff. So congrats. So exciting. And what a perfect time to have you on the podcast, because I know are so many people that we work with for their own health also have pets and have all kinds of questions on how to support their furry friends, give them the best life, help them, if they've been exposed to different things, what to expose them to or not expose them to. So I'd love to start with just some basics. Let's talk nutrition here first. If someone is wanting to provide better nutrition for their pets, baseline options, what does that look like? Where do you even start with all of it?
Yeah, so you're going to love this. You start with real food.
Imagine that.
Right? I mean, it really is very similar, and I can kind of just draw that parallel to people food. So let's just go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember when dogs and well, let's just say dogs, right? They ate our scraps. They
Hmm.
and that was normal. Dogs were healthy, they were fine. But you also have to think back to what we had on the plate back then. And so when you hear like, yeah, dogs shouldn't eat table scraps, well, that's because, it's chicken nuggets and really, heavily processed foods. So that's correct. So yeah, dogs need real food. Cats need real food, just like we do to be as healthy as we can be. And so what would I tell someone is, it depends, right? Just like with people. So let's assume someone has a dog or cat eating purely kibble, right? So ultra processed, dried food products. Then we can do things like add a little real food to it,
Mm.
right? Add moisture, lots and lots and lots of moisture to it. And, add some veggies with the dogs, some organ meats, a little bit of meat, right? Just some greens. I mean, it's just about adding a little bit of food. One of the things I always say is really easy is Costco has this organic Normandy brand of vegetable in the freezer
Okay.
section.
Hmm.
Buy that, cook it up a little bit, put a couple tablespoons, in your dog's bowl. Now for the cats are more carnivores, like specifically carnivores. They don't have the same carbohydrate metabolism.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily add vegetables to them, but a sardine,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Or a little bit of organ meat, something like that to give them some fresh taste,
Yeah.
some real food
Amazing.
nutrition.
Okay. Now, when you say moisture, like what's the
Mm.
benefit of the moisture? Like where or how should that come in? Should that look like water, bone broth? Another like I know for dogs like pumpkin. We used to give our dog pumpkin all the time. Like where does that come in?
The answer is yes. It comes from
Mm.
all of that. Ideally, most of the moisture will come from their food.
Okay.
Ideally. So if you're cooking cooking a real food, feeding raw, there's lots of moisture. So if you ever look at a label and you see moisture content, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see 74%, something like that on cooked or
Yeah.
raw foods. But it's not that way with kibble, right?
Yeah.
Kibble is dry. It's maybe 9%. So when I'm saying moisture, if it's something like kibble,
Hmm.
um, broth, water, just it's kind of like I say to people you can't hydrate a kibble diet like sufficiently, especially cats.
Hmm.
So if you have a cat on kibble, only kibble, they will most likely be dehydrated.
Mm.
And cats just don't drink as much as dogs, right? Like dogs
Yeah.
will run and they'll get a little tired and they'll go slop up the bowl. Cats like running water, so things
Hmm.
like fountains. I tell people put clam juice like
Clam
in the
juice.
water, sardine juice, just something soupy to make it really tasty. But yeah, kibble itself is just really dehydrating.
Hmm.
So imagine like us eating chips just constantly. How much water do you think you'd need to drink? Like
So
to get
much.
enough hydration because there's nothing in those chips as opposed to if you were eating, some meat and vegetables, right?
Very true.
But
And by the way, also people drink your water because that's also a big issue.
yes, and clean water, right? Like we don't want to give our pets water that has pharmaceuticals in it or chlorine or fluoride, possibly, depending on where you stand on that.
Hmm.
Um, but definitely not chlorine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, filtered water for the pets as well.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
the other thing you mentioned broth. Broth goes from, crappy broth that's full of like monosodium glutamate to your homemade broth. And
Hmm.
so just be aware of that. Like you
Hmm.
don't necessarily want to give any broth. Um, and if you're making broth, the best way is just like not to necessarily add any spices to it. Just let the meat flavor and bone goodness come through.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that because I remember when I had a dog, we had to be very careful on the types of broth that we used and the ingredients just to make sure it was safe for him too. So that's a real thing.
Yeah, and since you mentioned the ingredients, I remember way back when I was making a broth and I always put onions
Mhm.
in my broth. And onions, they're not great for dogs,
Yeah, yeah.
or cats, but it's like you don't have to panic. Like if you have been putting onions in your broth or garlic to make it
Uh-huh.
taste good and your animals love it, you're okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not
That's
like
super good to know.
feeding them, yeah.
Yeah. You're not giving them like, here, eat this onion, eat
Here,
this clove of garlic, just some remnants of it. Not, you don't have to rush to the vet
right,
if they have
right.
a little bit of that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and what like let's talk about cats. Just, I also have a cat now. So, with the dehydration thing, what are some signs and symptoms
Mm.
of dehydration and what are concerns around chronic dehydration with, I mean, all animals, but yeah, mentioned cats are more prone to it too.
Yeah, that's a great question because cats, I'm sure you've heard of urinary problems, right? Like especially what male cat have you ever known doesn't have some type of urinary problem, right? Crystals. Yeah. So that is typically what you will see. That
Okay.
as well as kidney failures, like kidney
Okay.
disease,
Yeah.
urinary infections,
Yeah.
crystals. That's a very common side effect for cats that are fed kibble,
Yeah. Yeah.
mostly kibble.
I remember growing up, I had a lot of cats growing up, or my mom had a lot of cats growing up, and I do feel like almost all of them had urinary issues and kidney issues. And I mean, we're very fortunate now. Our cat is very healthy, but we also, good water and I mean, all the filtration stuff, all the things. So, yeah, very, very, and he loves sink water, just loves that sink water, that running
Oh
water.
yeah, cats or bathtubs or anything.
Yeah, yeah, it's so
Yeah,
funny.
for a lot of us, I think our pets may eat better than we do.
I would agree. I've definitely heard a lot of stories about that.
Yeah.
Oh. Now, what about, like, so there's kibble and then you can do like a whole raw food-based diet, but like what are some maybe in betweens that people who maybe want better but don't have the time or want to put in that effort for all raw food, homemade?
Yeah, homemade can be a little time consuming until you get the hang of it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes pretty simple and you learn to cook in batches. So I think the first thing is money and time. That's it. Um, what I recommend is, well, it depends. if if you have the money, oh my God, there's so many wonderful foods out there, gently cooked and raw, like frozen raw.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there's a bunch out there that are high quality, but they're also a pretty penny.
Yeah.
If you don't have the time and you have the money,
Mhm.
excellent way to go. If you don't have the time, you have some of the money, then you do some kibble that you have and you do some of that, right? And so mix it up.
Mhm.
That's at least like filling that kind of getting some real food mixed in.
Yeah.
As far as cooking, I started off by following a crock pot recipe, and that came from Dr. Ruth Roberts, who I learned from and became a certified pet health coach. And so that is a very specific recipe that meets and exceeds all the AFCO, which is the standard for pets' dietary requirements. So it's things like getting some protein and getting some vegetables. I actually have a very simple recipe that I did for a canine nutrition show that I was on.
Oh,
And so basically, yeah, protein, some vegetable. We do need to look at calcium,
okay.
right? That's important. So either there's bone or I use eggshell.
Mm.
And then it's a matter of like nutrition is a game of averages.
Mhm.
So you don't have to worry about being perfect. So if you wanted to, let's say, cook a little bit, like put some stuff in a crock pot and also like add that to the kibble, I
Mhm.
think you would have to, so holistic vet told me, you would have to use more, like more than half of the calories, let's say, would have to come from what you're making to actually need more supplementation. That's
Huh.
how over supplemented kibble is,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's, there's so many different ways to get started from
Mhm.
the adding, like we started in the beginning, adding a little veggie, adding a little organ meat, to simply cooking a whole meal. Now, the problems, like when I say overwhelmed, like people are overwhelmed. I don't want to hurt my dog. I don't want to hurt my cat. It's like, yeah, they can't live on deli meat, right? They, I mean, they can, but they will deteriorate.
Yeah.
Or like people who want to feed their dogs just chicken,
Mhm.
right? I mean, just chicken meat is not a great way to go. But if you have some chicken meat, the fat, some bone, some greens, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't have to be as complicated as some of the people say out there and
No.
okay. That's amazing. It's amazing to
Yeah,
know.
and, even, sadly, vets today, um, they they will try and make some pet parents feel bad if they tell them that they're cooking or feeding homemade, which,
Yeah.
isn't helpful, but that's a whole nother topic.
Well, okay. I mean, that's a good segue because I would really like to get into this topic. I know for me, when I had my dog, we got him as an 8-week-old puppy. Like, it, I mean, this was a big conversation between my ex-husband and I, like, of deciding this. But, let's talk about vaccines.
Mm.
Like, you said you were open to this topic.
I
No,
am
so,
open.
yeah.
Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what was your experience?
Yeah, I mean, they pushed us for everything. I mean,
Mm,
everything under the sun. We did decide, and part of this was because we didn't feel capable of grooming him, and we wanted him to be around other dogs that we felt pressured to do a lot of the vaccines because
mm.
they were required for our groomer, they were required for like the place we did daycare, and different things like that. And we were required to show proof. So we got bullied into a lot. We got
Bullied.
I mean, and I
That's
mean,
how it
I
felt.
just it
Yeah,
felt that way. I mean,
yeah.
I was like, I don't they were telling me I was gonna hurt my dog and that my dog was going to die
Oh,
if I
God.
didn't. And I was like, I love this little creature and I
Oh,
just want the best for him. So, you know.
yeah. I hear you. You're not, it's not the first
Yeah.
time I've heard this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot in Gracie and Friends.
Mhm,
Um, so I will just say that I'm not a vet, and so I
mhm,
cannot recommend like to any vaccine or not vaccine. But what I can share is just what, I hear from some of the holistic vets that I work with and some of the research that
mhm,
that I have found. Um, yeah, so vaccinations. Okay. There are core vaccines for both cats and dogs. Like for dogs, in your experience, a core vaccine is distemper and parvo.
mhm,
That's basically it. Some of the recommendation is also to include like adenovirus, distemper. No, not distemper. I'm sorry. That is the flu. Like there's a
mhm,
flu shot. There's a COVID pre COVID-19. Um, there's also leptosporiasis, bordetella.
mhm,
Um, so bordetella and rabies are really the two I've seen required for boarding or grooming. Leptosporiasis is, from what my vets tell me, is one of the more hazardous vaccines, and it's for a bacterial infection that can be spotted and treated.
mm,
And so with any vaccine, we always have to look at what's the risk of getting sick and what happens when you get sick versus what is the risk from the vaccination itself. So I think most vets today agree that well, most vets, holistic vets at least, agree that our dogs are over-vaccinated, and cats as well. And where that comes from is his name was Dr. Schultz. Back when did some studies, like challenges. It's really sad actually because it was with beagles, but also blood testing for antibodies. And what he found is that while prior to 1970, dogs were getting like annual shots, what he found is that they were challenged up past like 5-7 years, and antibodies showed up even further, right? So after that, the veterinary industry was saying, okay, these shots are no more frequent than 3 years, every 3 years. So that's what you see a lot of now for the core shots is every 3 years. But it doesn't say it has to be at 3 years. It says no more frequent than 3 years. So every 3 years is what you'll get. Rabies shots, depending on the state, like that's a law requirement. And so, you know, you can get in a lot of trouble and you can get your dog in a lot of trouble, right? You don't want to lose
Interesting.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a state by state law as to whether it is required. So the one thing I would say about rabies is that there's a standard rabies shot and it comes in 1 year and 3 year. Dogs get every dog and cat get a 1 year shot to begin with, but after that, ask for a 3-year shot.
Okay.
For the standard rabies vaccines for 1 and 3 years, they're exactly the same. It's just a label difference, right? So there's no content difference. So just make sure that you're getting the 3-year for the dog. Then, I think it was in the late 1990s, cats, they came up with a feline rabies shot. So this was intended to reduce the number of feline injection site sarcomas. Okay. So that meant like cancer at the site of the injection. And it has to do with how the body is reacting to the stimulant, right, in the shot. So they came up with a feline vaccine. The reports, I thought the research showed that, okay, this is like less likely to cause injection site sarcoma, but now it's basically the same from the reports I've seen. So the question is, do you give and it's hard, it's very expensive to get the 3-year feline. So people I know that have been getting rabies shots for their cats are going in every year and getting this feline specific one. But now you're tripling the chance of this injection site sarcoma. So I asked both, I work with 2 different holistic vets specifically, and both of them recommend the standard shot every 3 years without thimerosal.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
What are the
So the
dangers?
mercury.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, let's talk about dangers here of some of
Yeah.
these. Mercury. Okay.
Yeah.
What are some other things that could possibly come up?
I mean, with all of the vaccines, it's oh gosh. I mean, you have to, okay, let's take a step back. And what I always say is look at the insert. When a vet is talking to you about a vaccine, look at the insert, because there's one thing, and this is where I messed up and I still feel really bad for one of my cats. It's in the insert. It says you only vaccinate healthy animals. So like when I took my cat in and she was having a cold and runny eyes and all that, and then they gave her the full, all the core vaccines plus, and then she had organ failure about like a month later and we had to let her go. And I believe that is because, we we really like challenged her immune system when she was already sick. And so in the inserts, it tells you, what the side effects are. the percentages and things like if your animal's sick, it's not recommended that they get vaccinated at that time. Let them recover and bring them back. And a lot of times they won't even charge you for another visit
Oh,
for that.
okay.
If you say, look, I want to wait until my animal is healthy and then come back. The other thing is you can ask to have those vaccines split up. So instead of getting like 3 in one day, maybe have them come back and get them staggered. So just back to general vaccines, what my vets talk about, they have differing opinions about how often, when, but there's timing around when to get the first core vaccines for both cats and dogs. And then for dogs, one of my vets just recommends like 1 round after 20 weeks, like after they've been nursing, they finish nursing, they're ready to get out on their own. So you give the 1 round, and then a month later you do titers. So you're measuring for antibodies.
Yeah.
So depending on where you're going, what you're doing, you can use that as proof.
Yeah.
Right? The
Okay.
titers. And you just have to titer once, because if the immune system responded, it responded.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is an option instead of getting like multiple shots.
Yeah. That's a great idea that I've never, I mean, I really don't know much about holistic pet health, but that's a great, I mean, that's a great tip to continue to prove immunity without having to continue to give more and more and more shots that are
Right.
potentially not even necessary. So, yeah. Now,
Right.
do you ever do any like or recommend post-care work from vaccines or anything around that just to help with the immune system or anything else?
Yeah. So, I mean, I certainly recommend like liver support
Yeah.
and detoxification support. What my holistic vets recommend that I work with are things like thuja. So they're homeopathics, which I cannot recommend because I'm not certified in that area. But that's what they tend to teach and tend to use are things like thuja for most vaccines and listen for the rabies vaccine specifically, or both of them together. What I can tell you is when I got my 2 kitties recently, they're 6 months old now, and they were from a humane society. They were both triple, like vaccinated with the full dose 3 times, and I got them when they were August, September, October, 3 months old. Yeah. And they both had respiratory diseases when they were found. One had like lots of eye problems, and so they definitely vaccinated them while they were sick.
Yeah.
Right? And so as
Oh,
soon
poor
as I
kitty.
got them home, right, they were on I took them off kibble, put them on raw. That went fine, and I started giving them just some liver support. I gave them thuja. They had not had the rabies shot yet because you're supposed to be a little older. So yeah, so I immediately went to detox and liver support and lots of fluids,
Mhm.
right? Cleaning the litter box a lot.
Yeah. How
So
often should that happen, by the way? Like every day, every 2 or 3 days?
cleaning the litter box?
Yeah.
Well, depends the size
Yeah.
of your litter box and how many cats you have. I have 2 kitties and a big litter box, and I probably clean it 3 times a day.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like I mean, imagine, it depends what the type of litter as well. I do use a clumping, but it's not a clay. Like, I don't think many
Yeah.
people use clay anymore. It's
Yeah.
more like wheat, grass type.
Mhm.
Um, but it makes kind of balls. And I mean, imagine if it's uncomfortable for them. They want to walk through a clean area. And so if you don't want to have your cats finding other places to pee, you want where they go to the bathroom to be nice and clean. And it's a huge litter box.
Yeah.
It's really big for the 2 cats. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it's at least 3, maybe 4 times a day.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. We do it like every other day, every 3 days. So yeah, I'll probably step that up a little bit.
Well,
We,
I mean, I
yeah.
would expect that what does he eat or she?
I mean, he eats mostly. It's not kibble. It's better than kibble, but it's not a raw food diet, for sure. And then we supplement with like some different treats and stuff for hydration and different nutrients and things like that, probiotics, digestion support, all
Uh,
that kind of stuff. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and it sounds like he gets lots of water, so he should be really peeing.
he gets a lot of water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
should be peeing a lot.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a good amount in there every 3 days, or every other day, every 3 days. Not a good amount, but some decent
Yeah.
amount. So yeah, well,
Decent amount.
decent amount. Yeah, I'm not the only one that's cleaning it, so I don't always know. I'd say I'm
Ah,
not the majority cleaner of it, but
I
I do
see,
clean it
okay.
sometimes. So
But we're not it's not a competition.
it is not. It is not. I work full time, and I do all the things, so I get a pass sometimes. So I do other things.
Yeah, I hear
Uh,
you.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now
Okay.
in my case, since it was kind of I want cats. We have 2 dogs in this house, and now we have 2 cats. And it was just kind of a spur of the moment thing, and when I filled out the application at the Humane Society, I got a call that day. And when I filled it out, I was like, "At least I'll get in their queue."
hmm
Right? So but no, the next day, we actually all went there, and, we went to pick out the 1 cat, and then they said, it's always best to have another sibling," and I was like, I forgot, yeah, I she's, like, trying to convince me, I'm like, "Done."
Yeah. You're like,
So,
okay, if you say so, let's
yeah.
take the sibling.
Yeah, so that's how we ended up with both, and
Oh,
I'm telling you, if you do get a kitten, get siblings.
yeah.
Get 2. They entertain themselves, I mean, they take care of each other. Yeah, so worth it.
Yeah. One of our other practitioners in the practice has, I think she's up to four cats, and you can see them in the background sometimes when we're on meetings, and I mean, they're so funny, just so
Oh,
playful with
yeah.
each other. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I really do have a good time watching them.
Yeah. Let's be real. Animals are the best.
Yeah.
Blanket. Just, I mean, they're just amazing. I mean, cats, dogs, never had a bunny, but I'm assuming they're great
Yeah,
too, but yeah.
yeah. They are a lot to take care of, but that's why,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I did Gracie and Friends, because it's an opportunity for, like, people like you and me who really
Yeah.
want their pets to thrive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we take such good care of ourselves, and put so much time and effort into our own health and healing that why would we not want to do the same for all of those around us that we love, including our pets? So yeah, absolutely. Now, we had talked about before, you had mentioned dental health, and I know that is a
Mm.
really big thing. I know especially I hear it, I think, more so from dogs than cats, but I'm sure cats are also in there too. But let's talk about dental health, and like I know especially with dogs, but you know, do bones versus like rawhide versus bully
Wow.
sticks and like dental sticks and like yeah, I would love to hear more of your thoughts about any and all of that.
Yeah, that's a huge topic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so let's just say first off, bones always raw.
Yeah.
Just flat out, any real bone is raw, not smoked, not cooked, raw. Okay. So with that said, bones can be a good way to help keep teeth clean. But it really depends on the dog. So I kind of learned this with my dog. So I have my Gracie is a pit bull. Huge, strong bite, right? Marrow bones, you know what I mean? The marrow
Yeah.
bones, those aren't great for her
Yeah.
because she will bite so hard to try and break
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
So with her, a marrow bone is like, okay, you got the marrow out. I'm taking it like it's
Yeah.
done. right? Rib bones are chewable.
Mm.
Like you can actually bite them. So those are good for her because she can eat them and you can actually break it down and get like some nutrients
Hmm.
from the calcium. Like if you give your dog chewable bones where they can actually
Mhm.
grind it down, you'll notice in their poop it can get like a little ashy or
Mm.
breaky uppy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I know exactly
it's
what you
a
mean.
little heavier in the calcium.
Yeah.
Um, but again, nutrition is a game of averages, so don't worry
Mhm.
about it. And so that's like those bones, and then knuckle bones, right?
Mhm.
So those are like not as hard as the marrow, and you can get some meat and stuff off of them. So with bones, raw bones, it just really depends on your dog. And I always want to watch her,
Yeah.
while she's chewing it. They're not likely to choke. Like dogs don't do that as much as I think we think they do. But as soon as I hear the cough, I'm freaked out. It just goes that way, just like
Oh,
with
no.
babies.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Look,
Yeah.
what is she doing? Is she breathing? Um, so, and then there's other great bones for dental cleaning. So those are more like recreational, not as much nutrition, but good stress
Yeah.
reliever bones, right? Then there's things like chicken necks, turkey necks, duck
Mhm.
necks, um, legs, like
Mhm.
wings, backs. So all of those types of bones are like the kind that if you imagine when they're chewing on it, it's actually is scraping like kibble. It's a lie. It doesn't help clean their teeth, but the bones scraping on it. And so this is true with cats too, like the
Okay.
smaller, like a little chicken wing thing.
Mhm.
But I recommend holding on to it. It sounds kind of gross. But let's say you have a turkey neck.
Mhm.
They're kind of long, right?
Yeah.
And what I do is actually I hold on to it,
Okay.
especially at first. If your dog is not used to having bones, you hold on to it and you put it in a way that forces them to kind of chew on one side and then chew on the other. But you're
Yeah.
teaching them that this is something for you to chew
Yeah.
and chew well and not just like take a bite and swallow,
Mhm.
right? So think of those types, the bones that they're smaller, they're a little more pliable,
Mhm.
they're more gelatinous.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that they can actually eat and get a lot of nutrition from as well. I mean, part of like somebody who's actually making homemade raw will
Mhm.
sometimes just throw chicken backs and chicken wings and turkey backs, in the food bowl, and that's part of their
Yeah.
meal.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Cats, you can do like the necks can also be good.
Mhm.
Um, and they do have teeth problems. It seems like cats tend to have them later
Okay.
in life, but has one in nutrition. What is the foundation of health for your teeth?
Minerals.
Minerals, food,
Yeah.
right? So if your pet is on a fully, highly processed diet, their dental health is, at risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is funny. I was worried about Gracie because she had these like lines because you can always look for tartar,
Mhm.
and there are ways to actually clean it yourself to help.
Mhm.
But I was trying and I was doing all my tips and tricks and I just couldn't get it off. And I took a picture and sent it to one of the holistic vets I work with, and he's like, "Oh, that's not tartar." Can't remember the name for it, but it was basically because of some bone chewing, like rubbing against it when the
Mhm.
tooth was growing. So it was a change in the
Ah.
color, like of the enamel. But I had to have Gracie at the vet once, when she was injured, and
Mhm.
they told me that she had tartar on her teeth, and I was going to probably have to get that taken care of. Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's why I was home. Like my tips are you can use that powdered bone broth. Like there's some really good
Yeah.
quality powdered bone broth. You
Yeah.
can use peanut butter, anything like on a finger
Mhm.
and use that to just rub your pets.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder with cats, but
Yeah.
for a dog. just like, and I was like rubbing and rubbing, and I was trying to, and nothing, nothing was changing. I will say though, just as a caution, if you do see in your dog or cat's mouth that the tartar is typically discolored, but if it starts getting like it's under the gum and the gum is actually getting kind of inflamed or red, we don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
Like that can be painful to get under there. And I would certainly try home remedies first, whether it's an enzyme powder, changing diet, massaging, all of that. But the bottom line is we know that if your cat or dog really does start having like dental issues where there's infection, or that can just lead to a whole host of other things that you can't really deal with until that's resolved. So
Yeah.
very expensive.
I've heard some estimates for bills of even just like tooth pulling and different things like that.
Well, the tooth pulling, you need a blood test, you need anesthesia, and then it's probably a good $600 to $1,000.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot.
So a lot.
Can't agree. Yeah. And that's just one tooth.
That's just one. Yeah. I don't know how much, like the two of those things are at least regardless of how many teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you do that a couple different times, like once a year or something, I mean,
Oh,
that,
no.
man, that can really add up. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, that dog or cat is going under general anesthesia.
Yeah.
So
what do you like to use for liver support, and or do you use binders as well with that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've used like milk thistle a bit. Right now, I think that's what I use with the kitties. I'm not using anything with the dogs right now. But I do use a binder. So I tend to use something that has like the fulvic and humic acids in it. And one of the reasons for that is it's so easy to give. So you can give it with the food. If you're trying to use something that's like mostly charcoal, you have to give it kind of away from the food and anything else. And that's really tough. I mean, you can mix it in with like peanut butter or something. So another thing I like to do is mushrooms. So like, real mushrooms, 5 defenders is good. So the liver support can be so many different things. I mean, hydration is liver support, bone broth. So that is not something I do regularly. I do introduce a liver support typically and a binder. Like I gave the cats a little binder also when I was giving them the thuja and the liver support. If I just start noticing that they're acting weird, my pitties are really well known for tummy issues and skin issues. And fortunately, knock on wood, her skin has been good, but she does get like that itchiness where you go to pet them and they kind of do that.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, as much as I know, like it is hard to keep track of exactly what is causing it. So so binders can be a really good thing, especially I have some clients like with their dogs have kidney disease. And with kidney disease, cat or dog, you start building toxins up, right, in your system. And so things like liver support and binders are really important at that point.
Do you have a brand of fulvic and humic acid that you really like? Can you use just like regular ones that humans can use, or?
It is regular ones that humans can use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there are lots out there. They're not cheap, but you also don't use a whole lot.
Yeah.
for
We
them.
use those types of binders quite a bit in our practice, especially for people who have mold and mycotoxin issues. And
Mm.
but we get a lot of questions, especially from, environmental. If people have been living in mold, their pets have been living in mold, and we're helping them heal their own bodies, what do they do for pets? So fulvic and humic acid sounds like something that could be safe and
Yeah, and
helpful.
it can have like zeolite, which is, I
Yeah,
think, good for mold as well.
sometimes. Yeah,
Okay. Things like broccoli sprouts,
yeah.
right? So
Hmm.
so chlorophyll is another really good one just to bind, and that's safe in pets. I know there's a lot of pet supplements out there. That's I say it like that because while I do love some of the information that a lot of these vets have on, they're kind of influencers at this point. I just feel like so much of it is to sell their branded supplements, which are most likely a white label supplement from like somewhere else. And yeah, so that's when I say it like that, that's what I mean. There's a lot of supplements out there, but honestly, you have to look at the ingredients, and a lot of the things that we use for ourselves, especially if they're based in real food,
Hmm.
work for our pets, right? Don't give your pet xylitol. Don't give your dog xylitol. I just want to say that because
Yeah.
if you Google like what foods not to feed, you'll get all
Hmm.
sorts of things. But honestly, xylitol and chocolate, like for dogs, pay attention to that
Hmm.
because you can give your dog like you can feed your dog garlic as part of a micronutrient component. I mean, I put it in when I cook. I add garlic, turmeric, mustard, right? So you can do all that. But xylitol, no. like like I researched. I think there's a certain type of gum or mint has a
Hmm.
lot of xylitol in it. And I was just shocked to find out like 2 sticks of gum would kill a Great Dane.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's serious.
Yeah.
So for people like, in your audience, me
Hmm.
that you take supplements and take any type of lozenge,
Hmm.
or remineralizing toothpaste or anything
Hmm.
like that, or probiotics for the mouth, most of them have xylitol because
Mm.
xylitol is now
Yeah.
used as an antimicrobial, blah, 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 in the mouth. Don't drop it. Don't drop it on the floor. I mean, yeah. So I have some pet parents that are like, we won't even bring anything with xylitol into the house. So any
Mm.
of those spree, whatever those are, gums and mints, all
Yeah.
xylitol.
Hmm.
And I just think about how easy it is to drop. I mean, I have done this.
Yeah.
Like you drop them and then it's like, did I get them all?
Right.
Did I, right? Because it is that dangerous. I mean, chocolate isn't near as bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially, yeah. So anyhow, I did want to say supplements because people often ask me like, well, what supplement should I give my dog, my cat? And
Hmm.
I always say it depends.
Yeah.
But
Of course. I mean, it's just like with humans. It depends.
yeah, but I think you mentioned, like what you mentioned is kind of the standard. Like, most of them could use some probiotic support,
Yeah.
right? Most of them could use a little omega-3. And if you don't get that through like feeding fish, sardines, then a good fish oil
Hmm.
is necessary, right? A
Yeah.
binder could be one. So there are, a couple things that we do kind of you can easily recommend
Yeah.
without, knowing too much about the pet. But kind of like we started out, Megan, the bottom line is food.
Yeah. Food first.
And
Always
and
food first.
I want you to know I am not a food snob when
Yeah.
it in the sense that not everybody can afford anything more than kibble.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, like you look at the ingredients, there's so much like about the ingredients, like try and find a kibble that isn't just byproduct, right? But as soon as you start getting into kibble that's actually processed meats and vegetables, you start getting up there in the price, and isn't
Yeah.
so. Yeah, so I'm a fan of, add whatever you can, whether it's in the form of treats or, just add real food. If you eat real food, give some table scraps. No chicken nuggets.
Yeah. Real food. If they are homemade chicken nuggets from real chicken that you made.
I don't know.
Yeah. No,
I know.
just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
I do not endorse giving chicken nuggets to dogs in any form or fashion.
Yeah, you have to make
So,
that clear.
yeah, right. So, I guess like maybe one more question that we can talk about
Mm.
today, just because you brought up probiotics too, and I know that once again, like this is a big question that I have gotten, and I thought about with especially my dog, but good health. Like obviously, if we're doing food first as an approach, like is there anything like probiotics, prebiotics, like food sources that might be valuable for pets to have a really good and strong, healthy microbiome?
Well, the first thing to having a healthy and strong microbiome is not to kill it off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. So we damage it with highly processed foods
Mhm.
and toxins. And so, that's like, I mean, can I just say one thing about toxins? Like,
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure, like, your audience is probably not like this, but think about um, deodorizers for carpets, plug-ins, laundry sheets, all of those things, dogs and cats are like soaking up constantly. Yeah. And so that, like not having those things, like really being careful about that is a good way to protect the microbiome. And so then when it comes to food, it really is about, if you can give some real food with a variety. So pumpkins, squashes, not onions, um, greens are really good. The even, things like the omega-3s in sardines can be helpful. Lots of water, clean water. The bones are good. Trying to think.
What about like a yogurt or other things that may have like
Um,
some probiotics?
yeah, so I know goat milk is highly
Yeah.
touted. I see that all the time. So that is a big depends because not all dogs tolerate it. Um, and even like with people, with people, let me finish that thought first. Um, like yogurt, it depends what you're dealing with. I mean, if you're doing it on a daily basis, then maybe that's sufficient. But one way we know probiotics can help is that there are billions and and billions, right? That actually make a difference. And then the other thing is you can kind of control, just like with people, with dogs and cats, you wanna vary it. Like, you don't wanna give them the same probiotic all the time, and, if they are on antibiotics, we too look at Saccharomyces, during the antibiotic, and then some other probiotics kinda switching out to restore, right? So one's more of a protect, and then you restore. Um, I was gonna say about sauerkraut.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know about cats, honestly. The cats, I no, just dogs,
Yeah.
but they can really enjoy sauerkraut. I wouldn't give a
Okay.
lot. It's salty.
Hmm.
Um, and if you're cooking for them and it calls for salt, but you also give sauerkraut on the side, skip the salt.
Okay.
So yeah, dogs can enjoy some sauerkraut. So that's a nice little probiotic there.
Well, yeah, that's amazing. Perfect.
Yeah.
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 Awesome.
And then, it really depends what your dog will handle. Like grains, we know that actual grains can help, right? If your dog will handle them, grains and legumes. It just depends. I'm not anti grains and legumes for dogs.
Yeah. Do those things need to be introduced early for them to tolerate? Is it more breed specific? Is it just like it super depends?
I think super depends on just your dog.
Yeah.
I think if let's say cats are pickier. I mean, some dogs are picky but there are a lot of dogs that just eat anything, right? So
Yeah.
they don't care what you add to their food, they'll eat it.
Yeah.
They'll take any pill if it's covered in peanut butter.
Mhm.
But cats are really a lot harder to transition or add anything. I have some clients they can't add anything unless it's totally tasteless and odorless, which is hard to find. So that is going to be easier if you do it sooner.
Mhm.
When you have a dog or a cat, but mostly a cat, on kibble for a while, they become addicted. And so imagine trying to take like a child that has grown up eating Fruit Loops and McDonald's fries, right? And chips and soda, and now try and tell them they're going to eat broccoli and steak, right? So
Yeah.
it's similar. It can be really tough. And that's why like going with a cat, you go a lot slower. And I recommend like sardines are my, Wild Planet just had 25% off. So every once in a while from their own website, and I
Mhm.
get cases of them for the cats because they have the skin, the bones, and no salt added in water. And you use something like that, like a little piece, because the smell is strong and it's usually good. And just start like trying to get them to eat less and less of kibble. So you start just like with people,
Yeah.
you start
Wean
phasing it
them off.
out. Yeah, it's not like taking it away, but it's adding something else that can start making up their diet. But yeah, so it's not about like their body handling it in any way. It's more about their willingness to try it. And I also just want to say, because this is something I didn't really know. Um, with dogs, you can tell them, I'm sorry, you're not hungry. You don't want that. It's not good enough for you. Okay, fine. Tomorrow you'll be hungrier, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. Unless they're really skinny or, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But cats don't do that.
Mm.
Cats really, because of the way that they kind of metabolize their own body, right? um, yeah, we don't want to do that. So when it comes to adding supplements or changing food with cats, you want to make sure they're eating. And them eating is more important than adding the supplement.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have 24 hours. Like you don't want to go more than that. They start breaking down their own muscle tissue and
Oh.
yeah. But
Yeah.
there's so many things to talk about. I mean, I know we didn't even hit.
We maybe got through like a quarter or a third of my list. You'll
Yeah.
have to come back on. Yeah. We'll just have
Yeah.
to have you back on and do a part two.
Yeah. I mean, because, so many cats and dogs are currently diagnosed with chronic disease.
Mhm.
And I would say that one of the questions I get most is what to do when my pet has kidney disease. So
Yeah.
that's just something, sadly, it's just so common right now. And we are heading down the same path for our pets as we as humans have. And so the more we can get people to recognize food first and just, even on a limited budget, just
Mhm.
add some real foods can be really helpful. And adding liver. You want liver support? Add some liver. Yeah.
Yeah. Eat your liver, give your pets some liver. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
gosh,
not eating
liver,
my
I mean,
liver. Ugh.
I actually really love a nice pate, like, yes, with
Oh,
duck liver especially.
oh, sure. Who doesn't
Yeah.
love a duck pate? I mean, especially if you're in France, right?
Yeah.
But I live out in a more rural area now, and so I've actually been able to obtain organs from
Yeah.
various animals around here when they're slaughtered, and I that it's for the pets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah. And if you're open and willing to eat them, they are also good for you as a human body, as
I
well as your pet.
know. I know. I want to. I just can't.
Y- You are, I think you are in the vast, vast majority of people. So,
Yeah,
well,
sadly.
thank you so much for coming on. I would absolutely love to have you back on and continue on this conversation. So, we can definitely chat about that. And if people want to find you, what is your website? What's the best way to reach out to you, connect with you, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so my new website is gracieandfriends.com. And there you'll find places where you can like ask for tips and tricks for your pets. I also have tips and tricks for you from your pets, and that's just fun.
Amazing.
There's a do-it-yourself first aid kit
Mhm,
for your pets and a go bag.
mhm.
So that's really important. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
And I have a course on there that I offer called Petgevity, which teaches kind of like the stuff we're talking about: food, environment, digestion, supplements. And then Gracie and Friends Holistic Pet Health Club is what I'm really focused on, which is a subscription monthly or annually. And there, we just have the opportunity for pet parents to ask questions, kind of like the questions you're asking, and typically about like their pet specifically and what's going on, from whether, it's a chronic disease or just changes in bowel habits, which we all love talking about. Um,
All day.
and and I hold a monthly, like just like a live Q&A so we can all chat and talk about what's current. So yeah, that's the best way. I'm not really active on much social media.
Yeah,
So,
and that is fine. So we will have all of your links below. I'll also say I dug through your website in
oh,
preparation for our conversation, and all of Wilma's stuff is like crazy affordable. So like if
yeah.
you're like, I don't know if I can afford it, yes. Yes, you can. And I mean, just like the resources and everything on there. I mean, you have so much like good free stuff on there. So absolutely go check out Wilma at Gracie and Friends. And she has so many amazing resources. And we will hope that she will come back on and share even
Yeah.
more information with us. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your amazing information about pet health with us.
Yeah. Thank you, Megan. I love the free form of your podcast, and I just hope it wasn't all over the place in different areas because there's just too much information to get out.
Yeah, I mean, we could have just talked about nutrition for for a whole hour.
Yes.
I mean, I had enough questions just on nutrition alone. So I'm also a little all over the place when I do it myself. So I think everyone's kind of used to that already. So I actually felt this was more
Awesome.
structured. So we are good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
had fun. Thank you.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening. As always, please like, subscribe, follow. If it resonates, 5-star reviews really, really, really mean the world to us. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.